My name's Elaine and I'm here from Move Wellness for the third in our Pilates Basics series. I'm filming from my home studio, so just like last week, I'm projecting, and hopefully you can turn your sound up and hear me as we go through some of the basic principles and movements from the Pilates system. So the first session was about breathing, and you can find that on our Facebook page, Move Wellness's Facebook page, and it's also on YouTube, our YouTube channel. The second session was on your abdominal connection. And then this session today, we'll do 30 minutes focusing on how we use the breath and the abdominal connection to move the spine. And so we call it spinal mobilization or articulation or spinal movement. So we are going to move our spine and connect to our abdominals and breathe really well. Some of the principles that Pilates, the system, highlights and focuses on so well. So what I'd like you to do is a couple things. First is make sure that you are feeling great as you move through these exercises. Don't do anything that hurts, and make sure you have your doctor's permission to exercise. And if you are uncomfortable in any way as we're moving through the exercises today, just stop. And if you have specific questions, I can't answer them right now because I'm far away from my camera and it's turned around the other way, but there are folks who are there helping to answer questions for you during this session. And you can also reach out to us anytime at office@movewellness.com, but I'll also answer questions offline. So go ahead and post them and reach out to us if you need any clarification or would like to inquire more about this system or anything we cover today. So I'm hoping that if you're with me today for the first time, you'll bear with me for using some terms and things that I've set up beforehand in the other sessions, and you can go back and do those at another time, and it will clarify a bit of some of the phrases that I use today. But know that you're fine to just join me, and you can sit on a floor on a mat, or you can try to do a lot of these exercises today seated upright. So if you're on a mat, you can get down to the floor. I would encourage it. If you're uncomfortable here in this position and you have a tight back, and it's hard for you to get an upright pelvis, go ahead and prop a pillow or something under you, and that will help you be a little more upright. We're going to change positions often, and we're going to run for about 30 minutes. So go ahead and try to get yourself set up comfortably and take a second and just arrive into your body. So focus, you can close your eyes or soften your vision and just take a few breaths, releasing any nervous tension you might have and releasing into gravity a bit. So focus on trying to inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And just notice your body and the sensations maybe of your neck and shoulders, releasing and melting open any tension as you breathe. And notice your upright spine. And you might notice your pelvis and hips, especially if this is a newer position for you. And then notice your seat and all of the points of contact with gravity, with the floor or the mat or the chair or the cushion. And as you breathe, try to melt open any tissue that's touching the mat. And as you breathe, we use the lateral breathing or diaphragmatic breathing. Breathe into your turtle shell. That's how I described it in our other session. So you really have a sense of that three-dimensional breath. And there's an ease in the opening and stretching of the muscles in your rib cage. and some release in the neck and shoulders. And then let's go ahead and do some arm circles. So we're going to take your arms over your head and yawn them out to the side. You can inhale as you yawn up with a stretch and exhale out to the side. So now we're connecting our breath to our movement, which is a theme here. We try to focus on it in our sessions and classes so that out in the world, you don't have to worry about it, because we're working on some neuromuscular patterning. And then switch directions. Should feel kind of nice, letting those shoulder blades glide across your rib cage. And then let your arms settle right out in front of your shoulders. And take a second to let your shoulders drop away from your ears and your spine lengthen up through the middle of your shoulders. I like to imagine that my arms are resting and floating on top of water. And then from here, what I'd like to do is glide your shoulder blades a little more. So we're getting warmed up a bit. Inhale, let your shoulder blades glide away from each other. We call this protraction. And exhale, glide them toward each other with a little hug into your spine called retraction. So inhale, protract. And you'll see that I'm reaching through my pinky a little bit. You can do that too. And you might feel a muscle under your armpit. And that's what you want to do here. That's your serratus anterior helping you protract and retract. So protract and retract and protract. And you're still moving and breathing, and you're just noticing if it feels different from one shoulder to the next, to the other. It does for me, for sure. And how easily maybe protract is easy, retract is not. No forcing anything, just noticing and letting your shoulder blades glide. That's really important to a healthy shoulder joint. And then from here, let your arms just rest down. We're going to glide them up to your ears and then down away from your ears. And if you shrug your shoulders up and just squeeze your shoulders into your ears like you don't have any neck at all, and then exhale, let your spine lengthen up and your shoulders go down. So this is elevation and depression of those shoulder blades, and we're just trying to get them to glide and move and bring some ease. Will help relieve some stress and bring some balance to movement in the neck and shoulders, where we often hold all of our stress, or a lot of it anyways. Good. So from here, we're going to move. I'm going to face the side. You can stay in a comfortable position, but bring your feet out in front of you. And we'd like to have you upright here, ears, shoulders, and hips lined up. But the trick is, the closer your feet are into your body, the more challenging that is. So walk your feet away from your body. And if you can keep your feet on the floor, your toes on the floor, great. And if you can't, that's okay. If your toes are down, it's harder to be upright. If they come up a little, you can get upright a little more. And then if you even have to walk your feet out a little farther to feel like you're right up on top of those sit bones, go ahead and do that. That's where we want to be, and that's where I am today. So what I'd like you to do is find the length in your spine here on an inhale. And on an exhale, your hands will just glide down your shins and you'll flex right over your thighs. And you're going to stay in this position and breathe for a minute. And we've got our spine moving into flexion here. And when you're in this position, I want you to feel your shoulders melting away from your ears and your spine just easily flexed over. And then on an exhale, I'd like you to stack your spine up tail to head, one vertebra at a time. And you're coming back to upright. You lengthen your spine a little more, get a little taller on the inhale, and then exhale, just flex right over again. And make sure your shoulders are melted away from your ears. We're not forcing a stretch. There's just some ease to this position. And you're going to breathe into the back of your body. And on an exhale, you can stack up your spine again. Now, sometimes it's really hard to know where you are in space here. So you can practice it up against a wall or with a foam roller or something, a broom handle or something behind you, just to feel the articulation of your spine. You're inhaling, reaching your little elf ears up to the sky to get really tall, and then exhale, flex over again. Breathe into the back of your body, and then exhale, and stack up your spine. Good. So from here, we're going to actually flex our spine another way. We're going to use some gravity to help organize moving your pelvis away from your femurs, which sounds irrelevant to you, maybe if you're new to Pilates, but it's an important thing that we teach when we're helping people learn this system. So let's take our arms up in front of your shoulders. Your shoulder girdle is wide and easy now that we've warmed it up. And now I'd like you to pull your abdominals in to pull your pelvis away from your femurs. So pull your pelvis away from your thighs, and you're going to curl your tailbone a little, and your glutes are going to turn on. That's okay. Clavicles are nice and wide, arms parallel to the floor. You're going to take a breath in here, and you're going to exhale, pull your abs in some more to come up and over the top onto your sit bones and stack up your spine. We call this the half roll back. So let's try it again. Exhale, curl. Inhale, stay. Exhale, deepen those abdominals, especially that low belly, and stack up your spine. And inhale to prepare. Exhale to curl back. Now you're in this position of pulling your hip bones away from your thighs. Try to not let it get up into your shoulders. It's really common. Don't go as far if you feel like it's in your shoulders. And revisit that sense of ease and width in the shoulder girdle. And keep the connection right here in your abdominals. Take a breath in. And exhale, come up and over the top. And inhale, stack up your spine. We're going to add on a little. Exhale, curl the tailbone and roll it back. Ease in the shoulders. Keep the abdominals hollowing and pulling up and in. Your hips are away from your thighs. Ease in the shoulders. Keep breathing. Don't stop breathing. Inhale, open your right arm to the side and look at it. And exhale, pull your abs in even more to close your arm back in front. Now, be in a position where you can do this for a minute. And if you have pain in your back, come up a little and stop, because we don't want to do this with pain, except for that nice sensation of feeling your abdominals work. So inhale your arm to the side, and exhale, bring it back to the center. One more. Inhale your arm to the side, and then bring it back to the center. Take a breath in, and exhale, come all the way up and over the top, and stack up your spine. One more set. Exhale, curl the tailbone and float back. Both arms open. It's a little harder. It's a heavier load on your abs here. Exhale, close. If you have to come up a bit, go ahead. And if you don't feel the challenge, go ahead and go back a bit, but just make sure you have that ease in your shoulders. Exhale to close, deepen the abs. You're going to feel your glutes too. It's okay. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more. Inhale, exhale, take a breath in, and exhale, come all the way up and over your knees, and stack up your spine. Good work. So from here, we're gonna go onto all fours. We only have 30 minutes, and I always go over, so I'm gonna just keep moving so that I can get all the exercises I planned in. So you're in your neutral alignment here. Remember, ears, shoulders, and hips are lined up, and you have a connection in that low belly. All of the tissue is pulling and hugging in towards your spine. And now your sit bones are pointing straight back. So we'll do our cat stretch, and we're going to do it two ways today. First, articulate tail to head. Curl your tailbone and push out of your hands and knees. Let your head drop down and push your hands and knees into the mat to feel your spine reaching up to the sky.
And then as you come back, articulate tail to head, one vertebra at a time. So you imagine one of those, we had one of those little wooden snake toys as when my boys were little that would sort of slide and articulate as it slid. That's what I think about here. One vertebra at a time, goes up to the sky, tail to head, and then tail to head, one vertebra at a time, comes right back. Now, even if you don't have the sensation of each vertebra, each vertebral layer, you're going to, or level, you're going to imagine it. So that you're really taking the time, noticing your mid-back, noticing your upper back, noticing your head drop. And then you're going to notice your tailbone reach back, and your low back, your mid-back, your upper back, and your crown. One more like that. And then I thought for fun, we would change it up this time. So come back to neutral, and we would go head to tail. And so typically in a class, you do tail to head. So from here, this is Pilates fun. This is how we have fun in Pilates class. Let's go from head to tail. So your head drops, your sternum lifts, your rib cage lifts, your abdominals lift, and your pubic bone comes towards your forehead. And then your head goes up, your neck, your shoulders, your mid-back, and then your tail reaches back. Try that a couple more times, head to tail. It's sort of a tongue twister for the body, and it gives you a different stimulation for the spine and trying to move it into flexion and extending it back out, head to tail. Good, and so from here, we're going to go into thoracic rotation. And I love this exercise. It feels really good, it's challenging, and it does a lot for our body. So we're rotating the thoracic spine, but we're working on shoulder stability as well. So your right hand will reach out to the side, and you're gonna reach under your opposite armpit. Keep your eyes on your fingertips and just really stretch as far that way as you can. We're not putting it down on the floor like we do in yoga, but from here you're gonna push down to the mat and lift your sternum and fingertips to the sky and repeat. And you're just gonna move and breathe. Sometimes we choose a particular breath pattern here. And know that you're rotating your thoracic spine, so you want your sternum and your fingertips to lift up toward the sky. So we're going to do 4 on this side, and you're trying to stay pretty much in the center of your body as if you had a rotisserie right down the middle. We have all these great images in Pilates, right? So now you have a rotisserie right down your spine, and you're rolling around the middle of it. Reach and stretch. And reach, keep your eyes on your fingertips, and stretch, and reach, and stretch, and reach, and stretch. We're gonna do one more on all 4s. If you feel like you've had enough, go ahead and take a break with your wrists and meet us back here. It's absolutely fine. I want you to spread your fingers, push away from the floor. Make sure that you are pushing down with the heel of your hand, and think about lifting up with the skin. So we're energizing through the whole arm, and notice the points of contact with your knees and hands. 4 points. And you want to try to not shift your weight as you slide one arm and leg away from your center. And then they float up to the sky. It's not about how high they go, it's how long you are in the front of your body. And they float back down and slide in with minimal shift from side to side. So now you've got the other arm and leg reaching, and lift, and come down, and in. I'm gonna walk forward so I stay in the picture, reach, and lift. Who knows if I'm in the picture or not? Arm down and in. Last one, reach and lift. This is a great exercise to keep checking in with, to check in on your stability, and there's a lot of other fun things we can do with that one. Sit back and shell stretch That's the one like child's pose, except you're gonna hollow your belly a little and send your tailbone to your heels. Let your arms stretch out overhead. So from here, we're gonna go on to our back, and we're going to start with our hip rolls, which we've done a few times. And this is the one where you start in a neutral alignment again, your shoulders and hips lined up, and now you've got your heels lined up in the middle of your sit bones, not too wide. Don't let your knees wing out or wing in. Line up your heels and line up your knees with the middle of your pelvis. Your tailbone is heavy and your pelvic clock is focused up to parallel to the floor. 12 o'clock in the belly button, 6 o'clock at the pubic bone, and 3 and 9 in either hip bone, I don't care which one. So I'd like you to push your heels down into the mat, and your clock is going to rock to 12 o'clock using your abdominals, and peel your hips up. Take a breath in and then articulate down through your spine, rolling down one vertebra at a time. Come back to that neutral position. Push your heels down, hollow the belly, and feel the abdominals connect to lift the pelvis. Inhale, and then exhale and roll down. This should feel nice. And come back to neutral. Push the heels down, curl the tailbone, and come up. Try not to pop your ribs up. And then roll down. And then last one, push your heels down, curl up, stay up there if you can. You can either lift one heel at a time, just noticing the sensation behind your hips, your glutes, and your hamstrings, or you can take your leg off into a march. Now, you don't want to let your hips rotate here. We've got that rotisserie idea again. You're never going to look at a chicken the same way, or a grill. Lift your glute to lift the other leg, and up. So you're staying really centered without any rotation. It's not easy. And then lift both hips up and then roll right down. So from here, let's do our ab prep to connect the lower connection to our abs, and then our upper connection, our upper abdominals, and then we'll work on the lower abs. So from here, let's nod and feel that stretch behind your neck. Let your eye line come down the ceiling, and then close the ribs to curl up. Inhale into the back of the body and exhale, come down. And release. Nod on the inhale and stretch the back of your neck with your head down. And then exhale, close and curl up. Inhale into the back of the body and exhale, come down. Couple more. Inhale, nod. Exhale, close the ribs to come up. Inhale and exhale, come down. Last one. Inhale, nod. Exhale, close the ribs to come up. Now I want you to hook into that low belly and take one leg off and then the other leg off. Keep those low abs pulling in. And let's do our toe taps from here. Tap one toe down and lift it up. Tap the other toe down and lift it up. And tap, exhale, inhale, and exhale, inhale. Couple more. Exhale, inhale. Last one. Exhale, inhale, and just lie right down. Hug your knees in if that feels good to you, or you can just put your feet flat on the mat and rock your knees side to side a little bit. So from here, I'd like to do a little bit of our ab series. We've done the hundreds in the last couple of sessions, and so today I'd like to do our single leg stretch and a couple other abdominal exercises. So let's go ahead and pull that pelvic clock to 12 o'clock. So your low abs are connected, your ribs are funneling down the front of your body, you have ease in the shoulder girdle, and all the layers that we have talked about are in place. You connect one leg and then the other leg off the mat into our tabletop. I want you to put your hands on your thighs, pull your knees in just a bit here, and push into your thighs and your thighs into your hands, and you'll feel that connection right between, right above your pubic bone. If it's comfortable for you to glue your thighs together here, go ahead. Feel like your sit bones are pulling toward each other, and as you do this isometric exercise, you're going to really feel a little burn in the belly. And that's what we're after. So relax that connection and hooking up and in into the abdominal wall and noticing, keeping the point of contact on the mat behind you and using the abs to do that. So we're not going to talk for a minute. We're just going to move. So nod your chin, curl up and around. One leg reaches out and one comes in towards your chest. And we're going to do the version today where you hug that knee in as close to your body as possible and you pull yourself up as much as you can. The opposite leg gets long. And exhale, switch. 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 And exhale. Pull both legs in. Both legs reach out. Both legs come in. It's like you're taking a top hat off and come in. If you feel your back changing on the mat, put your legs higher. We're going to do 2 more. Exhale. And last one. Exhale. Bring both legs up to the sky here and let's do our scissors. Reach, reach, switch, reach, reach, switch. Exhale, exhale, switch. Exhale, exhale, switch. Exhale, exhale. Reach your feet away from each other here. Take a break if you need to. Bring both legs up. Bend your knees, hug your knees in, and just rock side to side. So there's a little bit of the ab series. Woo! And just massage your low back into the mat. So we're going to go onto our bellies. I have just 3 or 4 more exercises to do with you. We're doing 2 in the prone position, and these are really important for our upper back extensors. And again, moving your spine against gravity and especially getting your spine into a little bit of extension to keep the front of our bodies open. So I'd like to do the dart, a variation first. Your legs can be adducted right next to each other or hip width apart. And you're going to let your forehead drop down onto your hands. And now I'm going to shout to make sure you can really hear me. We still connect the abdominals into that 12 o'clock position. And you're going to let your forehead rest down as I talk for a second. The front of your body is really long. And all I want in your shoulders are away from your ears. So your abdominals are connected, your legs are reaching. Push your feet down into the mat just a bit. And then on an exhale, lift your upper body so that you're reaching your toes away from your crown and then come down. And on an exhale, lift again. Inhale, stay. And exhale, come down. And 2 more. Exhale. And down. And last one. Keep your abdominals in. Let your shoulder blades glide toward each other. Keep breathing. And then float down. And from here, bring your elbows under your shoulders. And your legs are going to come into a parallel position. And I want you to feel like you're dragging your elbows. You're trying to pull your mat closer to your rib cage. But I want you to really pull your pelvis into that 12 o'clock position. So your hip bones may be hovering off the mat. I have the type of spine that doesn't show that super well, but I'm really pulling my pelvis into that 12 o'clock position. And then I want you to bend one knee with a long foot. And then flex your foot and reach it down. Now, as you do that, the tendency is going to be to drop your pelvis into the mat. Try to keep that lifted. And so try the other side and don't shift. You're really pulling your abdominals in as you pull that foot around with a point and a flex and then reach it long. And the whole while you're dragging your sternum over the top of your mat. And you can breathe. Keeping the abs in. Keeping the sternum pulling forward. Let's do 1 more set of those. Not easy. And then come down, sit back in shell stretch. And we're gonna come up to sitting. Let's sit in this position, one leg out in front, one off to the side. If it's uncomfortable on your hip, you have two choices. You can raise your hips up or you can sit, tailor sit, the way we started class. So your choice. So what I'd like you to do is reach both arms out to the side. We're gonna reach one arm up and over. We're gonna do both, so it doesn't really matter which one you start with, but if you start with the same leg as, same arm as leg that's in front, that would be helpful, because this side you're gonna push and really feel the stretch and that other rib cage. And then reach up and over. You're gonna push here to feel the stretch on the other side. And up and over. This time you can put your hand on your knee and pull a little, so you're pulling your leg toward you, and just notice that that helps you go up and over a little more as you spread your ribs. And over and up and over, push and spread the ribs like an accordion, and come up and over from here. Good. So what we're gonna do now on this side is the leg that's in back, you're gonna bring, so your foot is flat on the mat, and the leg that's in front is gonna hook behind that foot. Your hand is under your shoulder. So this is our lateral spinal movement exercise. What I want you to do is push down with the arm so you feel a nice stable shoulder, that muscle that we connected with right at the beginning. You're gonna come up onto your knee, and you're gonna lift your top hip to the sky as you stretch up and over into a bit of lateral flexion. And then you come down, float down. And repeat, and come up and over. So this side bend exercise is a preparatory exercise for one of our twist. So up and over, and come down, and one more. Up and over on that knee. It's like you're in a toaster here. Your pelvis is coming forward as it goes up to the sky, and then come down. Good. Swing your legs around to the other side, and we're in our, call it our fourth position, or a star, whatever you want to call it. Reach up and over. You can give a little push the first set, spread the ribs open, and switch, spread and switch. This time you're gonna grab that knee, pull it into your body, and notice how that helps you get up and over a little more as you spread those ribs open. And up and over, push with the bottom arm, and come up and over. So from here, we bring our back leg foot flat, hook your bottom foot under, and make sure you're really pushing down with that arm so you feel your shoulder blade pulling down the back. Other arm on top, come on up. Pelvis comes forward as you yawn your body up and over, and then you float down. So you imagine you're in a toaster here, kind of. So you want your hand and feet and hips to all pretty much be in the same plane. And down. And one more. Nope, that's not right. I think I did 4 on the other side. Pilates teachers notoriously cannot count. So up and over. And down. Good. So bring your feet right back to the center. And let's just settle into the mat. Be in the position that you started with. So if you started with a prop under your hips, go ahead and grab that. Let's take our arms out to the side, yawn them up to the sky. And I want you to reach one arm up so you feel like you're lifting all your organs, everything, the tissue, the muscles, everything is stretching up. And then you're climbing, so you're reaching the other arm up, all the organs. Try that a couple times, really stretching right from the point of contact on the floor, your pelvic floor, your organs, All the tissue and muscles are stretching up, 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 up. And then you're going to let both arms reach up to the sky and take your hands behind your head, lift your chest here so you really feel your sternum shining up and away from your body. Don't press back. Lift the sternum, spread the elbows, let the shoulders melt down your back, and then reach them up again so you're at your longest, and let your arms float to the side. Good, and just take a second and check in with your body. Notice where you feel any lightness or openness, any stimulation, connection. Notice if you have an ease in your breath or your shoulders. And then once we're done, get up and walk around the room and see how you feel upright. So thank you so much for joining me again. I'm having a lot of fun doing these series. So if there's something you'd like to see, feel free to email us or just post a note in the comments. And if you have questions, it's office@movewellness.com. We have our free YouTube channel. We have more than 50 classes a week online. I'm in many of those, not many, but I pop in and out of classes. We have great private sessions. We are helping a lot of people using Zoom right now. So we'd love to help you. Our Facebook, follow us on Facebook because we have a free live stretching session every Monday with Jane, and we're trying to stay connected with people in as many ways as possible. So thanks so much for coming, and I hope I get to see you soon. Take care.